Good afternoon. This week's Torah portion is Vayikra. The verse begins, Vayikra el Moshe. And God called out to Moshe. And he told him that he was welcome to go into the temple and to learn about the sacrifices. Vayikra is written with a small aleph. It's spelled Vav, Yud, Kuf, Resh, and Aleph, but the aleph is tiny. Why is this so? We find a beautiful answer in the Medrash. The rabbis tell us that Moshe was a very humble man, and he felt he was not deserving that God should call him in such a nice way. He thought that the word Vayikar would be more appropriate. The word Vayikar means, and God happened to get in touch with. This is the expression we find when God spoke to Bilam, the Gentile prophet who's trying to curse the Jewish people. It says Vayikar Elokim el Bilam. Vayikar, he happened to make contact with him in some way. So Moshe felt, why should I deserve that God calls me out in such a nice way? It should be Vayikar. He didn't want to put in the aleph, but God said, write Vayikra, so he made a small aleph. And what happens as a result of this? We find in the Torah, we read a couple of weeks ago, that when Moshe came down from Mount Sinai, his face was shining so brightly that people could not look at him. He had to put a veil over his face. The Torah tells us that there were rays of light coming from his shining face. And the rabbis asked, where did these beautiful rays of light come from? And they answer that they came from the drop of ink which was left in Moshe's quill. Why did Moshe's quill have a drop of ink? The answer is that everything God does is perfect. God invited Moshe to go up to Mount Sinai, and there Moshe was asked to write the Torah. God dictated the Torah to Moshe. And God gave him the precise amount of ink that was needed to write one Torah scroll from beginning to end. There was not a drop of ink too much and not too little. But God wanted Moses to write the word Vayikra, which implied Vayikra with a regular sized aleph. Moshe wrote a small aleph. So therefore, there was an extra drop of ink. And that drop of ink later became the beautiful rays of light that would shine from Moshe's forehead. What do we learn from this? How a person will shine with greatness if he has the quality of humility that Moshe Rabbeinu had. Rabbi Dessler, may he rest in peace, expounds on this beautiful idea by giving us a description of what life in the world to come looks like. He says, when the righteous man comes to the world to come, there will be a curtain, so to speak, and God, so to speak, will be behind this curtain. And God will lift the curtain and let the righteous man enjoy some of the divine splendor. The righteous man will be overjoyed with the pleasure of experiencing this experience. But at once he will say, I don't deserve this. Why am I getting such a wonderful reward? And God will say, well, look at this man. He's so humble. He deserves more reward. So God will lift up the curtain even more. And the righteous man will say, wow, this divine pleasure is amazing. But I don't deserve it. And again, God will say, oh, look, he's so humble. Let's give him some more. And again, the righteous man will say, I don't deserve it. And God gives him more. And he keeps on going and going and going for eternity. Pleasure gets more more exciting, and more amazing. And the righteous man keeps on expressing his humility. So we learn from this that the basic trait that we are expected to acquire is the trait of humility. Humility does not mean that we trick ourselves and we lie to ourselves. Everyone should know what qualities he possesses. Humility means, so what? I don't deserve anything. Even if I do possess wonderful qualities, even if I have talents, everything I have is a gift from God. So why should I be haughty about it? It's just a gift. This explains a Gemara at the end of Tractate Sota, which states that when Rebbe passed away, there was no longer any humility. Rabbi Yosef got up and said, well, what about me? How could he say, what about me? How could that be humility? The answer is, like we just explained, humility means I am aware of my traits, I am aware of my qualities, I am fully aware of my talents, but they're all a gift from God, and therefore there's no room for haughtiness. Rather, there is room for taking these gifts and doing something about it, helping people, changing the world, making our life and the life of others better.